evening, Metropolis. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever the case is going to be. I am Scooter McGee, and against my better judgment, but by calls from a lot of people literally around the globe, what's going on with politics being my hobby, but wargaming my sport, in Scooter Damas's comments starting at the end of December, beginning of January regarding Ukraine. I did start a new podcast. It is available on Podbean. It is live 11 p.m. Mountain Time, slated for a 1 a.m. Eastern. However, in talking with my tech people, they reminded me I thought I had a limitation on YouTube and that I have not done a stream for several years and should be allowed. This is the test. So, if in fact I'm allowed to be Facebook Live, which this says it is, and I'm going to then try and publish it, and we'll see. But 11 p.m. Mountain Time is a horrible tag. I'm not even going to do Ted Koppel. But that's where Nightline came out of, was the Iranian hostage situation. So, hey, good afternoon, Dawn. Hello. I was just trying to tell everybody here that I will be doing coverage of the crisis in the Ukraine, the economic ramifications of the lack of sanctions, the overwhelming condemnation of a war while we all cower on our knees, hoping that Putin will pull back. Anyway, so Podbean, if you are on my Facebook and are still a friend of mine after the recent attacks in media and you know who I am, well, thank you for keeping me around. Um, the photograph of me on Facebook is the same photograph of my profile on Podbean. So the Podbean allows for us to talk. So in the podcast, I can be talking, you can call in, and then you become part of the podcast, which is not something that YouTube allows. But so many people are wanting their information on YouTube, and you're only allowed to provide the information on YouTube that YouTube says you're allowed to provide. So that's quite a Pandora's box. Now, I've had to pussyfoot around the FCC rules and regs for 34 years when I was a broadcaster. Some would say I did it well, and others would point out, well, you're not in it anymore. Maybe that's why you're not doing it so well. And that's fine. But we are on the precipice of catastrophic life ending events, not life changing, life ending events. So, as we thank the international community for the condemnation and the chance to meet, to come together, to agree on some economic sanctions and some foreign policy, it frightens me that President Biden was touted as a man with vast experience in foreign policy who is a doddering fool. If we just want, everybody was mad at Donald Trump and his mean tweets, but he was on the damn thing 24 hours a day. And yet, they put the lid on, a term in the news, putting a lid on at the White House. Yeah, there's no more stories today. The Twitter feed goes dark. Jen Psaki's more worried right now about negotiating a contract for a Rachel Maddow type show on MSNBC. CNN is claiming that it is freedom minded individuals who supported Donald Trump who are responsible for the crisis in Ukraine. Vladimir Putin is calling those in Ukraine who are his enemy, he's now calling them Nazis. And what's frightening is out of the playbook, if nothing, the Germans right now are like, man, if we had blitzkrieg like that back in the 30s, we wouldn't have this problem, would we? So hopefully we're going to be able to have some conversations and we're going to be able to share dialogue. As I mentioned, the Podbean. So apparently there's a Scooter 6 and a Scooter McGee shallow moments. I don't know who's trying to create a new account and shadow me. I have my IT guy looking into it, and we're going to see if we can't vertically integrate my platform. There is a Patreon page, so a thank you to Kevin McGee. No relation. Again, Scooter McGee is a made-up name. But Kevin, thank you for signing up. We already have 2 episodes of The Conspiracy Keepers, and while I was taping this, my window came down. I asked the crew, hey, do we want to do a show? But in after an hour, hadn't heard back, so I sent the Bueller, 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 to be told that we will not be able to tape. Our next episode will air March 1st, 3/1. But there is a YouTube of The Conspiracy Keepers available from the last 48 hours as well as last week. But I'd encourage all of you to listen to the last since January, because I seem to be the only one jumping up and down and screaming about the military exercises in Belarus as the world was worried about who's going to go to the Super Bowl. So, sorry, international stream of news. I don't know why we got an opera commercial in there. I look forward to seeing all of you through this coverage. I pray to, again, here's the reality of war. For every moment of indecision, give your enemies hours of opportunity. For every hour diminished, you can literally geometrically do the numbers or the analytics and the metrics and work out the logistics. If we stand idle for 96 hours, we are looking at a war that will last longer than World War II. I pray to Christ I'm wrong. And I pray to Christ with all of you on the internet and all of your resources and your skills far exceeding mine, that we can come together every night and share with each other the headlines we saw, pointing out those that are accurate and those that are not. We have the media, and here comes top. Okay, so here we go. And democracy. The threat of democracy to the Ukraine. The Ukraine isn't a democracy. Neither is America. America is a constitutional republic. Ukraine's been living kind of under a quasi-dictatorship and wanting democracy. Putin wants none of that. That's his. As are the stands. Afghanistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, all of the stands. And Turkey, and even as Ukrainians are now fleeing to Poland, hate to bring up Germany again in the 30s, you think Poland isn't in play? Wow. Well, again, I hope you did well on your Super Bowl picks, and I hope you're proud of your Olympians. And boy, I sure hope the Pentagon can step up all this diversity training so we can get our soldiers in the field, because we're worried about Ukrainians' diversity and loss of culture. The United Nations, on one argument, is talking about the defense of a border and a boundary, and another group inside the United Nations are talking about the need for no boundaries, no borders, all one world, which is interesting because that was the signature coming out of the closing ceremonies of the Olympic Games in 2022, excuse me. One world and one family. I saw a comment scroll and I didn't get a chance to read it. How do I? There we go. Hello, Dawn. Dawn, what's the podcast called? It is Scooter McGee Shallow Moments. Said I don't have some of those platforms. Oh, dude, don't do that. Please let us know on your Facebook which Podbean account is the real one. I will. That's what we're working on this afternoon. They just pointed, I got a phone call. Hey, Scooter, you know your YouTube is... It is on? It's not. They haven't turned it off yet. Oh, well, then let's go try this. So I'm just sitting here having a smoke and a Coke. Coke's off camera. And I've been monitoring the stream all morning. My hours of operation did not change when I retired from broadcasting. I was the night guy for 30 years. So while you go about your day and you sleep and you do whatever, I'm on the comms. I'm currently monitoring 9 different streams. I'm also monitoring 3 to 4 different sets of cameras inside Ukraine. Sadly, one of my sources, they're out. They were State Department. They're gone. My other source, however, began their exodus west out of Kyiv shortly after the bombing started. Argumentatively, they're 9 hours ahead, and we're just shy of 3 p.m. Mountain Time. They are going to be transgressing and hopefully successfully escaping Ukrainian border into Poland. I have not seen an update, and I have not gotten a text message back from them, but I hope to have that info as well. I'll have full data as much as available on casualty counts, head counts, air bases, strikes, swings and misses. I did post on social media at the beginning of the week only because of the numerology of 221, 222, and 223, where I was in 1991 with Gulf War. And we were all a bunch of spoiled military brats coming out of military boarding schools. And it's embarrassing to tell this story. We were sitting in a bar with a big world map, playing a big kids game of Risk, watching what went from Operation Desert Shield into Operation Desert Storm. I don't know if we've learned anything since 1991. Our enemies sure have. Meanwhile, there are reports coming out of the UK in the Daily Mail that as Russian forces were invading Ukrainian airspace, the Chinese have begun some aerial maneuvers that are questionable when it comes to Taiwan. And I made all of my predictions very clear on the Conspiracy Keepers regarding America's misperception of Taiwan and the Soviet Union. I don't like calling them Russia. It's the Soviet Union. It's the Soviet mentality. The Russian people are a whole different discussion. But in the world of political ideology, if you think the Soviet Empire's thinking regarding communism is removed and gone because a wall came down, we're all free to believe. Shouldn't we be allowed to believe what we believe and talk about what we believe and share our opinions and share what we believe we know to be facts in hopes to getting to the truth? No, you're not allowed to do that. Misinformation, disinformation, you're trying to kill people. Trying to find out why they went from blaming Trump for the economy to, oh, this is just this inflation. What inflation? Don't worry about it. There's no inflation. Well, it's transitory. Okay, it's all right. Well, we got a little inflation there. Well, the inflation was caused by all these people who weren't, they just won't get vaccinated. Well, you know, this inflation's being caused by those pesky Canadian truckers. Supply chain issues. Yes, of course. That didn't work either. So now, because of Ukraine, obviously, the price of oil and the supply chain issues, this is just out of our hands. Some would even allege this is deliberate and by design. That takes it into not the world of conspiracy theory, but now conspiracy fact. Because the Great Reset is, in fact, the Great Reset. Those who warned of the upcoming and impending Great Reset were called conspiracy theorists, climate deniers, climate change deniers, xenophobes, transphobes, racists, Zionists, you name it. So when they are calling you names, I would encourage you to, really, thank you. Because if that's all they got, then this whole one world order and new world order is literally as they clench Broke the internet scooter. No, I didn't. Nobody knows I'm trying this. Okay, so are we good? There's only one person in here. Good, but we tested it. Dawn says she has some of those platforms a lost sound. My phone was ringing. Dawn, did my phone or did my voice now come back now that the phone stopped ringing? That may be what that was. Sorry, I'm not supposed to be smoking these because I'm wearing the patch to try and quit, but I'm just not good at doing this yet. I'll throw the green screen up and get rid. Yes, so I'm just sitting on the couch monitoring. So one of the feeds now is down. I have 3 video cameras running out of Ukraine. I'm currently monitoring 2 different international news sources. But that's what they're showing on cable right now is not the news. So I'm being told this may have frozen up because of that phone call. That means I have to change some settings. I'm also trying this from the iPhone and not from the MacBooks that I used when I was on air. I may have to go back to the MacBooks. I can try that as well. Dawn, can you hear me again? No, they left. She may pop back in the room. I don't even know who Dawn is. Hope I'm not being mean. Anyway, 11 p.m. weeknights. However, because of the crisis in Ukraine, we'll do it 7 nights a week, 11 o'clock. I guarantee 30 minutes of headlines. The first night only went 21. We went, and each one now has gone almost an hour. Last night I was excited because, we can take calls. So get over to Podbean, find me on YouTube, and subscribe now to YouTube because apparently this is still, I did not realize I still had a YouTube channel. Be well, Gotham. Be safe. Be kind. Be skeptical. Be leery and not be hopeful right now. There is a lot of chatter about possibly, even with the situation in Ukraine, that something far sinister is in the works. We're also awaiting the Federal Reserve. Thought you just did artwork for SMKC. I don't know who SMKC is, Dawn. Had no idea history about. Okay. Dawn, is my voice, apparently she can hear my voice. Is this yes? No? I don't know who I am either. I'm 54 years old now, and I don't know. And everybody was, hey, happy birthday. What are you doing today? I'm watching the war get ready. What war? Oh, God. I figured you'd be out today buying coffins. No, what did he? My ex-boss called me to wish me a happy birthday and said, he asked me what I was doing. I said, nothing, I'm just watching the news. He goes, I figured you'd be out pricing coffins. Because prices are only going to go up. You think? I don't think the world understands the difference between recession, inflation, hyperinflation, stagflation, global depression, or economic collapse. Let's see if we can't get through some of that along with Ukrainian coverage, 11 p.m. Monday through Friday. But until further notice, unless Vladimir Putin stands down before I can click stop, I will also do weekend updates. Staying at the same time, I'll bang the same drum, 11 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Mountain, 1 a.m. Eastern. Until I see you next time, God bless, Godspeed, hail the Republic. Now, how do you stop this? If I hit X, I think that's going to just, that might. It does. Do I want to stop?